Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome to my first ever trade recap. This is going to be for the overnight session on the 30th, as well as this morning, so December 1st. All right, so let's get into it. I took 3 trades total. The first trade I took was a terrible trade. It was a ES long, 30 minutes after the overnight open. So I took a long pretty much literally right when I would allow myself to take a long. And I think my biggest issue was I was trying to rush into a trade here. So I kind of marked this out like it was a high volume node. In reality, this is just way too early to determine anything. There's not enough data on the volume profile. So this was pretty much an immediate loss. And whenever I get an immediate loss, that pretty much tells me the trade idea for me was completely invalid. And I think that's what this was here. So I took this trade on this 150K top or take arbitrator eval. And I also took it on my 2 top step combines with no activation fee that I just started. So I'm down 600 total on each top step account, and I lost $1,235 on my TPT account on this trade. So not a great trade. In reality, this is one that I should have just never taken in the first place. This is one of those trades where it's just like you've just been waiting the entire weekend and you're actually just looking to get into something. So definitely not one of my best moments, but I'm glad that at least I was able to recognize that so I can prevent it in the future. Next, I'm going to go over my second trade quick. This one was on NQ in the overnight. I don't have all my charting up because I got rid of it, but this is what the trade looked like with the exact executions. You can't see it because I'm not logged into it. This was taken on a funded next rapid account to pass the eval in one trade in one day, which is obviously what those accounts are for. So this was about, let's see. This is about almost 2 hours after the overnight open. And I just thought that we were dumping heavy, right? Dumping heavy on ES, dumping heavy on NQ. And then I believe we started dumping on gold at this point. Whatever, I'm not gonna even look at that. But yeah, we're just dumping heavy for over an hour. There was no heat levels to trade off of for volume profile. So I was kind of just looking at high volume nodes, watching kind of the trend of what was happening. And I mean, this is really late to do something like this, but it was just an eval. So it's kind of just like, fuck it, just trying to pass it in one trade anyway. So I saw this volume or this high volume node develop here. So I was like, okay, I'll literally just take an aggressive entry off this high volume node, came back up, tapped back into it, entered the trade. I put in, this is about what it looked like for my stop loss position. So this is half risk. This is on a 25K funded next account. So full stop out with 2 cons should be like 25 points. So I was half risk, so about 12.5 points, if I'm correct. And then I know for sure this is my entry and my exit. So we passed one funded next account that we will have for tomorrow's trading day. So this was I mean, like, I don't even think this is necessarily a good trade, just trying to pass an eval. So that's that, and I'll not be touching NQ ever again, I don't think. But anyways, last final trade for the day. Now this one I did not take on my top step accounts because I'm locked out because I reached my daily loss limit during the overnight, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I did not do that on my take profit trader account. So basically the way that I trade the New York session is I don't trade within the first hour of the session starting. So I kind of have these like vertical dashed out lines for when the session starts. That's this first one. And the second one is when I'm actually on the chart and looking for a setup. So if I drag my volume profile back to when I first got on the chart here, I see for me what is an absolute A+ setup, one that I would take 10 out of 10 times, which is obviously 3 key levels overlapping. I see that there's no volume down here yet. And then if I look back, there's also very low volume during the overnight session as well. So that is like 5 different confluences for me. Oh, I didn't even mention this. Where also this is in deep discount of the current sessions profile as well. So that is like 5 or 6 different confluences for me. So I immediately, within a few minutes of me getting on the chart and getting everything marked out, put in a limit order. I put it, this is a little bit like too high. Not really, it doesn't really matter. But I put my entry like 2 ticks above the overnight point of control level here. In reality, it should be like 1 tick above. And I would have, I think literally, I would have been like 1 tick away from bottom ticking it, but it doesn't really matter. This is like a safe entry, but I was also just trying to get it in like quickly. So I wasn't really paying attention like to the tick, what was happening. But anyways, got my entry in, almost the perfect bottom tick. And I was going for a 5-point stop loss. And normally I go for like straight 1-to-1s like this, like 5.25. So just like fees, one extra tick for fees, but I went for an extra whole point because I thought that this setup was so good. And looking back at it, I also could have left some runner contracts if I wanted to as well, but I'm definitely pleased with getting just getting my money back from the trade that I lost earlier. So now I'm actually $95 in profit, which is nice. Don't have to worry about making up another win again. So yep, this is what everything looked like. If you're wondering what this like bid marked out is, this is just my risk management. So basically, the 2 red levels are what I will move my stop loss to if certain conditions are met. So for example, if it goes 50% in profit, I'll move my stop loss up 50%, which this isn't actually 50% because my take profit's farther than my stop loss is, but you get what I'm kind of going for here. And if it goes up 75%, I'll move my stop loss 25% in profit. And this is just to fix some issues that I had in the past. With over trading, if I got stopped out at break even, now at least I'll have something to show for it if I get stopped at 25% profit, and then cutting risk short as well if it goes 50% in profit. Because if I'm taking good setups, the majority of my setups will at least go 50% of the way to my take profit. So just cutting my risk in half just makes me feel so much better. Like both holding the trade, and then if I actually get stopped out, I can just take 1-to-1 and make that back and more. So that's just kind of my risk management strategy that I developed recently, and it has been working pretty well. So yeah, those are the trades so far. I pretty much lost 2,300, I think, in the overnight session. That's not counting the funded next win though, so that'd more like be $800, like an $800 loss overall across 4 accounts during the overnight, and then traded on 1 account for this New York session and made, I want to say it was like $1,300. So not too bad. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I will talk about my strategy in like future videos and stuff like that if anyone's curious, but that is just for today's recap. Everyone have a good rest of your day. Peace.